Hello, Mohit. Welcome to Elbite's interview. The first question I have for you is, tell us a little bit about what cloud kitchens really are.
Well, you take a restaurant and you take the dining aspect of it away from the restaurant. So what you have in the back end is just the kitchen, right? And so there is no seating. And from an entrepreneurial perspective, the capex requirements for something like that are limited, right? But that's the very simplistic view. A couple of friends got together and they want to flip burgers, and now you have somebody like a Zomato or a Swiggy who is able to then deliver that food for you. My firm is Cross Border Kitchens. So when we looked at cloud kitchens, and we spent a good 4 months exploring the space before we actually started. We have 10 brands, right? Biryani Central is our flagship brand, and one of my partners, his father is Imtiaz Qureshi, who was the first Padam Shri chef in India, right? My other partner is Ishita, and Ishita comes from a background. She was the chief marketing officer of Forest Essentials. So a huge kind of Ayurvedic brand that was bought by Estee Lauder, right? How do you get all of these disparate pieces to work and be efficient? That's where the technology piece comes. We have 10 brands, so we're running 10 brands, 10 websites, 10 apps, and then we're running a corporate website and a corporate app. So we're running 11 websites, 11 apps, not 11 apps, 11 websites, 10 apps, right? Our catchphrase or logo is, or a brand language is, think food, we'll be there. A very obvious question that gets asked is, okay, you've got 10 brands. How are you good at 10 different types of cuisines? Right, that's a very obvious question that investors ask us, everybody else asks us. Well, one, when we hired, right, we are top heavy. So we hired 75% of our cooking staff is from 5-star restaurants. We're also going to open physical stores, right? Not restaurants, but maybe a kiosk, right? Or maybe a QSR. You go from there to, you start doing now corporate catering. You do wedding catering, you do at-home catering, right? So that's the third leg that we are starting to expand into. And then the fourth leg is packaged food, right? I've got friends over, we're going to have some drinks, and we're going to make a whole thing out of it. So I don't want, a handi mein biryani. I want the biryani desegregated, and I want to cook it at home. Great, fantastic. We'll sell you the meat and the masala and the rice separately so you can cook it at home. We'll have like a high-end mithai brand, right? So the high-end mithai brand, now it's Diwali, it's COVID. You don't want to go to your local mithai wala and pick out, 20 packets to give to your friends and family. Sure, just come to us, right? And we'll deliver it. The very basic answer is, yes, take away the restaurant, you have a kitchen and you do delivery or takeaway only. For us, it's much more than that.
Okay. Now, reports released by Zomato and Swiggy last year clearly made one highlight, that biryani was the most popular item ordered on both platforms. So much so that every 30 seconds or so, there would be one biryani order on average. Over the last little bit, the key takeaway for me was the biryani central part of it. You mentioned several brands, but the bulk of your focus seemed to have been biryani. Is biryani the biggest revenue generator for you?
It used to be, and Biryani Central for us is a flagship brand. It's a high-end brand. The average order value on our platforms is over 1,000 rupees per order, right? Mm-hmm. We have invested in a partnership with somebody who actually makes the handis specifically for us, right? Oh. So the handis that our biryanis come in, the clay pots, nobody else in the market has them because they're specifically created for our brand. We have a second biryani brand now, mm-hmm. right? And to get back to your question, yes, pre-COVID, biryani was the category, right? There's about a handful of us, 4 or 5 brands that are super recognizable, including Biryani Central. There's Biryani Central, there's Biryani by Kilo, there is Behroz Biryani. Pre-COVID, biryani was the hot sell, right? Even for us. But today, where we are generating most of our revenue is actually from Bro Momo. And Bro Momo makes momos, basically, right? The Indian story is always different. And
It's always
needing
an
storytelling,
anomaly, the Indian market.
it is, and it tends to throw you for a loop, right? Round up to your question, biryani is still one of the most popular cuisines out there, and it's easy to see why, right? It's a meal in itself. Once,
My next question is, you mentioned that your chefs are mostly people who've worked in five-star properties. Now, with the advancements made in technology, would these fancy chefs still be required, or would you be looking to automate the entire process of making biryani, let's say?
yeah, it's a great question, right? As I'm growing, right? As I'm growing my firm, I can't replicate that at every kitchen. I can't. Our primary kitchen is in Vasant Kunj, right, in Delhi. And so that kitchen serves as a central kitchen. Okay, so we've got massive amounts of cold storage in there. We've got the butchery in there, and these chefs that I'm talking about, they are at that Vasant Kunj kitchen. The other two kitchens don't have these chefs, right? So the idea is, as you grow, you de-skill at every level. So for us, the automation comes in at two levels, right? What we are doing at Vasant Kunj right now, we take that and we put it into a factory setting.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a central processing unit where all the mass cooking happens. So the quality, right, is controlled at the central location. So when I look at automation, and when we as a firm look at automation, we are looking at an important but not an exclusive part of technology.
What are the hurdles to operating a business half a world away from where you are located?
I have fantastic partners. There's the four of us um, that that they help manage the operation side of it, right? So for me, I would not be able to manage this business sitting here by myself, and especially the operation side of it, right? There's just so much that goes into the day-to-day operation of it. The first thing is, even if there's something that you can kind of do by yourself, having a co-founder, a competent co-founder that you can implicitly trust will go a long way in getting your business to success.
Mhm.
The reason that I did this was because I trusted my partners. Right, we saw the opportunity. We think it's a fantastic opportunity, one that we can exploit, one where we see significant gaps that we can fill in, and that one we think that we can make this into a significantly large business, not only in India but abroad as well, right? So for me, without having those partners that I trust, and that bring in significant value, right? So the four of us all come from disparate backgrounds, and each of us brings in something to the table. So we've got the marketing piece, we've got the operations piece. I have an investment banking background, so the finance strategy piece. My other partner also has a consulting background, a strategy background, a real estate background. So kind of all of those pieces come together because of these four founders, right?
Mhm.
So to answer your question, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have those partners. It just
Um,
wouldn't have been possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Mohit, for taking the time out and patiently answering our questions. It was very insightful, and especially into the world of biryani. It's one of my favorites.
If you're ever in Delhi, just let us know and we'll hook you up.
Certainly.